You know how when it's the end of the open water fishing season and you've got to put your boat away for the last time of the year, how bad that makes you feel? It's the end of the ice season. Warm weather was coming. Well, Keith and I and Jim Hudson were talking, and we knew Devil's Lake had some ice, so we decided, hey, let's give it one last shot. So Jim called a couple of his friends, Dave Gens and Rick Johnson, and also we got a hold of Jason Mitchell. Keith and I called Jim Carroll. We assembled this wolf pack of fishermen because we knew that the fish would be transitional. We really didn't know where we could peg them. We're going to have to hunt them down. Why don't you come with us to get your next bite?
I'm just looking for the next bite, next bite, next bite, next bite. I'm just looking for the next bite. It's with
At the next bite, we've been known to push things a little bit, but maybe we've gone too far this time. We'll have to wait and see. I'm actually headed up to Devil's Lake in North Dakota to do a little bit of ice fishing. The key word there is ice. We've had an unbelievably warm spring. The temperatures are up in the 60s and 70s, have been for several weeks, and so we were supposed to come out in a couple weeks, but we're basically running up here to try and catch the very last ice. We got a pretty good crew of guys coming up there, so I hear the fish are biting and everything is hot. But so is the weather, so hopefully we get out there and get to do some fishing.
It may be late ice, but this Devil's Lake walleye bite kicks off early.
Okay, but decent.
And when trying to find fish more quickly, mobility is a key factor, both in your gear and your mindset. Obviously, not every spot is going to produce. So if nothing's being seen, then it's time to move. Move again, and move some more. Up front, it's a lot of work, but it's a necessary evil in order to sniff out a better school if possible, in order to increase your chances for bringing up not only more walleyes.
You know, with the year class we've had the last few years, in fact, 2 years ago, it blew everything off the charts, a record year class, so we're going to see a lot of fish like this for the next 5 years.
Yeah, this place is just a fish factory.
It sure is.
But a better size class of fish overall. Not that walleyes are the only species in a lake like Devil's Lake that come in double XL.
Oh my goodness, Jim, look at that. Look at that. Wow.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's one of the bigger perch I've ever seen in my life.
It's important to be open when picking apart a range of depths and letting the depth finder do its job, whether that is in 55 feet of water.
Yeah, it gave me a second chance. I mean, it whacked. I got about 2 cranks on it, lowered it back down again, and it came right up at me.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, we're 54 feet of water. I got 4-pound test mono on.
How did you even feel it?
Yeah, I got the feel. I got the feel.
Or further up shallow, in as little as 6 feet of water.
Jim, come on, man.
What do you got?
I don't know, but it's shallow here, so it ain't gonna take long to get them up here.
Jeez. What is it, 6 feet here or
yeah,
something?
6.5. Just moved a little.
Yeah, it looks like a good
There's
fish.
my swivel. There's my swivel.
Yeah, he's swimming that way. Oh, here he comes. It's a real nice one.
Grab him, man. Grab him.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Grab your fish.
You got him?
Little tiny spoon there, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good fish.
That moving, you know, the moving is key to catching these fish.
Yeah. I mean, we were down just a little ways on that structure and moved up here and
what we say, drill, man.
And we got some holes all the way up here in 6 and some out in 9, and this seems like a school. Nice.
Target depths do start to click into place a bit faster than usual, with having such a large, experienced crew of anglers on site. But the same could be said amongst any group of friends working together, being able to both experiment and cover a lot of ice at the same time.
I got one, Gary. This is a good fish. This is a heavy fish. Whoa.
Good one?
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Oh, I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, he's
caught
on the
yeah,
bottom
it's a
of
walleye.
ice.
It's a walleye.
Yeah, it's a good
nice one. He's coming in. Oh! Jason, look at that fish.
Oh, aren't they beautiful? Just beautiful
Holy
color.
Man.
And they come in with such an attitude. They just come in and punch.
I was looking right at you and you got him there. You're jiggling, kind of teasing, and bam!
You know, one thing that's neat about the shallow patterns is that you can be really aggressive. You know, the harder you pound it, the more you bring them in. And you guys are the experts at trolling. You guys know all about that. That's what we're doing. Parsons and Kavajecz trolling on ice.
The next bite is presented by Mercury, Amsoil, the first in synthetics, Tracker Boats, fish the finest, Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here, Berkeley, catch more fish.
The one thing about Devil's Lake is that it's a huge body of water. The lake is flooded through the years. There's flooded roadbeds and farmhouses and on and on. The one thing is the fish can be anywhere. In fact, laid ice on any lake, you've got to actually hunt them down. So we started off on a flooded roadbed. There's a large flooded roadbed, topped out about 15 feet of water. We fished the tops and the edges. This particular roadbed went for miles. Caught some fish. Essentially, though, we just didn't feel like that was the right situation. We weren't marking enough fish. We drilled a lot of holes. So then the next place we looked was in a real deep water flat. In fact, it was 50, 55 feet deep. And we caught quite a few fish there, but they're smaller fish. But it wasn't until we found the mother lode, and that mother lode was located on big flat with weeds and rocks on top. The water would be anywhere from 6 to 12 feet deep. The best bite was early in the morning and later in the day, and that's where all the bigger fish were, and there were lots of them.
Devil's Lake is definitely unique in its structure and its sprawling, ever-expanding waters. But there's another underlying factor at play here that increases your chances of seeing bigger, healthier fish overall.
Got him, Jason?
I got him.
Was it a good one?
Get them started. This is really shallow water.
Yeah.
These fish are aggressive when they come in here. Heavy fish.
Yeah, the sun's coming up and these fish are going on a tear right now.
Yeah, they're moving through. You know, and the season doesn't close out here too, and so
look at that fish.
Look at that fatty. You know, this high water situation creates some incredible fishing. You know, and the season doesn't close for walleyes out here, and this is just a tremendous time to be out here. You know, March, sometimes we're even fishing into April. You know, we get plenty of winter here in Devil's Lake, and what an incredible ice fishing opportunity. You know, since I started guiding, Devil's Lake's risen over 20 feet, more than tripled in size. And with this high waters create a lot of unique forage bases that are derived from invertebrates. In fact, the backbone of this entire fishery is an invertebrate about this big called a freshwater shrimp. Now with this high water, a lot of terrestrial vegetation, even trees, bushes, grass, has been inundated by this high water. And whenever you have high water covering terrestrial vegetation, it releases a lot of carbon in the ecosystem, so you have a tremendous productive fishery, and that's why Devil's Lake is such a fish factory.
The Real Deal. Real fishing information from real fishing experts. Presented by Amsoil.
You know, for years in the two-stroke class of outboards, the Mercury Optimax Pro XS has been an industry leader. And there's been a few cool advances that they've really made. New graphics on it, obviously that's not the only thing. I have Robin Singer here, the Merc Professor. He is the man when it comes to any of the products. Knows everything there is to know, right?
Well, thank you. I hope to, yes.
So like I said, a lot of good changes, not only the new cool look to it, EPA regulations are making you change some things with the engines. What's going on there?
And really the customer's going to benefit. That's the good part. You know, we've changed the exhaust bucket. We did the exhaust tuning a little different in it. Obviously it's about the fuel quality, what's happening in the industry, make it more reliable. You know, you think back on the history of the Optimax, and later on we introduced the Pro XS. It's about horsepower, plus horsepower engine. The standard Optimax uses the stainless steel reed. The Pro XS uses the carbon fiber, lets it ingest a little bit more air, make a little bit more power. Pop that boat up on quick, get you to the fish, and get you back.
Yeah, so when you mention plus horsepower, you basically just mean versus the regular 225 Optimax, an XS will just be a little bit more horsepower, a little bit faster on the top end, and that's why you see so many of these engines for many years on the tournament scene with some of the bigger boats. But the beauty of the Pro XS is you guys have actually expanded it and cover all the way from the 115 horse up to 300 horse now, so it covers a variety of different size boats that you can can put the engine on, get that same performance that us tournament anglers like in some of the smaller fishing packages.
And the technology continues. You know, you think back, what's the deal with Optimax? What's the deal with Pro XS? It's the gear case. Hydrodynamically, the way we slice through the water, next generation gear case coming next year, it's exciting. Propellers, you know, we're the leader when it comes to propeller technology. The performance vent hole, how we can get that boat up on top. You've got the live wells full, you got the load, and the two-stroke's going to be around for a while. You know, we're going to be able to compete. And again, at Mercury, whether it's four-stroke or the Pro XS, we offer what the fishermen want.
Having nailed down the depths and general area types where these Devil's Lake ice walleyes can be found, what is still most fun about this late ice bite is that the lures and approach that Gary, Keith, Jim, Dave, Rick, Jason, and Jim,
That's out here in Devil's Lake, you just never know what you're gonna catch.
can leave the bite wide open as far as species.
Fish with teeth.
So long as you're willing to move to stay on the fish, there's always the added bonus of a nice pike bite or even a trophy perch in between walleye bites.
Here comes one, Gary.
You got one to hold, Jimmy?
Yeah, he's coming up pretty fast.
Oh, look at that rod bend.
How does he feel?
That's a good one, Gary. It's a good one.
All right.
Why don't you come help me?
Right over.
Wow, it looks good.
Big fish.
Oh, is he a good one?
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a good one.
Don't lose him, Jim. Don't
Here he
lose
comes,
him.
Gary. Here he comes.
Oh, wow, Jimmy.
Look at that one.
Jimmy. Oh, look how fat he is.
I know.
What the heck? He looks like a crappie. He's so big from top to bottom.
I know. We, you know, just been moving around a lot, and I came to this hole. I found this one that was, you know, already cut, and I, you know, looked down. There he was. Dropped down. That sucker shot up, and bam! He just slammed it.
We just moved in here. We kind of like hop hole to hole. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, is that a nice fish, Jim?
Yeah, pounded it.
Yeah. Oh, he really hammered it, didn't he?
Yep.
Holy man, he wasn't going to get away, buddy.
No, I think I got the pliers here. Get him out.
Yeah.
Can't get him hooked any better than this. Hooked right in the beak.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Just a fatso.
Look at him.
You know, when you come to a lake like Devil's Lake, especially during a transitional period like we are in right now, two key factors that you really got to look at is lure size and jigging type. You know, we're moving around a lot, and we're in deep water and shallow water, and we're running into a lot of different species of fish, from perch, northerns, and walleyes. So we want to have lures that match everything that we could catch. So right now, when we're jigging, we're using smaller lures from 1/4 ounce and smaller. A lot of fish that we're catching are on that 1/4 ounce type spoon, and sometimes all the way down to a 1/16 ounce spoon. Those spoons, they also carry good when you're fishing with a full minnow or a minnow head. And jigging techniques, these fish are moving, and we want to call them fish in. So we're using lures that have a lot of flash. So when we're jigging, we're doing very big upstrokes to call them fish in, but we're always constantly moving that rod tip too. Flash that lure up, bring it down, and constantly pound it. So when that fish comes in, he's going to be really aggressive. Chase that bait up, and you're going to catch whatever fish is down there, wherever you're at on Devil's Lake.
Finally a nice size fish.
Jeez, float out of here, Flip.
All right.
Yeah, I like the looks of that. Rod's got a pretty good bend on it. I like it.
Looks like a good one.
Oh, there he is.
Nice,
Nice
Dave.
fish, Dave.
Good job. Hooked him good, too.
Boy, just right in the snout.
Yeah.
Well, the first time he came in, he didn't bite, but when he come in the second time, I got it.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. These midday walleyes like right now, but I got some pliers for you.
I put on this gold rattling flyer spoon, and
well, he wasn't getting away, that's for sure, Dave.
That's a good thing.
It's like you just put that on, too, right? You just switch bait?
Switched baits, and you know, that's what you got to keep doing. I mean, keep switching baits until you get one that works.
We'll just get that one going too, Dave.
Yep, let him grow up to be big.
When you come out ice fishing, some things can be really challenging out here. Obviously, it could be very cold. Now, we haven't hit that this particular trip, but even if it is, the shelters that are out now and the clothing can keep you warm out on the ice. The other thing that's challenging is actually finding fish, because you can't, like when you're out in a boat, just drive around and grab for the fish. You actually have to drill holes and holes and holes and look around and try and find some active fish. It's a lot of work. But there is one thing that's kind of cool when you go out on the ice, and that is using your fish finder. We're fishing 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce type lures. They're oftentimes very difficult to drop down and feel the bottom. But the cool thing about a good fish finder is, see on this screen how that slanted line is cruising down towards the bottom? That's my bait going down there. And I know when I'm getting close to the bottom that I can stop dropping it. Once I start fishing, I can tell whether that lure is 6 inches off the bottom or is it 2 feet off the bottom, because that might be where the fish are. Now the second thing that you'll notice, when you're out in open water, and you're in your boat, rarely do you get to know if the fish are looking at your lure. When you're ice fishing, you can actually see fish come into the cone, look at your lure, and you can tell if they like the action that you're doing or not. And if they don't like it, maybe you got to switch lures or switch what happens next time another fish comes in. Lastly, when that fish does come in, there are things that you can do to actually trigger that fish to bite. Now obviously you can't make your lure run away from it, but what you can do is pull away from it going upward. And a lot of times you'll see a fish come in, they'll look at the lure, they won't bite. You'll lift up a little, the fish will follow it. You'll jiggle it a little, they'll still be there. You'll lift up higher, and that fish will move in after it, and finally jiggle it some more, and that fish might take it. So you can actually entice that fish to bite. So yeah, ice fishing can be challenging, but I tell you what, there's some really cool things that happen on that depth finder that make it a lot of fun out on the ice.
Leading information on tackle and techniques to make you a better fisherman. Presented by Mercury.
I've been using Mustad hooks for years, and because of the tremendous quality, but I've been kind of secretly waiting for this particular hook right here. What this is a hook that has that ultra point type technology. A super hard, sharp enough point right out of the box that stays hard and maintains that point. And it's in the larger sizes. That's the thing. The Ultra Point technology wasn't available, only in the smaller sizes. Now this particular hook is going to go from 1/0 on up to 7/0. And it's going to be introduced in July 2013 at the ICAST show. I'm lucky because I'm going to get a few sooner than that. But some of the features of this hook are actually a 12-degree inside bend. It's very similar to that KVD Ultra Point treble. It's actually got a wider gap than most other standard round bends. And then the reason we like this 12-degree bend is it's something, once that hook penetrates, it tends to penetrate even better on the hook set. But the important thing is that bend plus that barb, it's like that fish is gaffed. I mean, once you hook that fish, you've really got that fish. And these have really got me excited because I'm going to be able to go out and put these on lures. I'm not going to have to sharpen that hook point. I'm not going to have to worry when I bang into rocks a little bit. I'm still going to check them, but I know these hook points are going to stay sharp, and I'm going to catch more muskies because of it.
Whether enticing the walleyes up by watching their marks in real time on an LCD depth finder, or just having them come in and smoke it all on their own.
I gotta get one. Come on, Keith.
Chasing after these Devil's Lake late ice walleyes has meant jigging flashy lures to call fish in, deep or shallow.
Hey, that water's cold. Nice fish. How did he eat it?
Oh, I just right in and banged.
Man on a mission, huh?
Right on, yeah.
So with all this moving around, it's always good to know what other anglers consider first when it comes to outfitting a winter version of your normal fishing rig.
It's the middle of March. The shorelines are starting to melt away now, so it's pretty hard to get any vehicles out here, but you still get your snowmobiles and ATVs out on the ice, so that's what the late ice fishermen choose to use. Now, we've got this one rigged up special, is we've got a fish trap mounted right on the front of our snowmobile here. The guys that are serious about this, chasing these fish in the wintertime, we like our one-person shelters because we don't fish alone, we fish independently. We each have this. So this is rigged up for two guys, fish trap mounted on the back, fish trap mounted on the front, and a nice auger mount right up there in the front. So you can see the auger, you don't forget to tie it down. We also have our electronics mounted up here. My GPS is right here in front of me, so when I'm going across the ice, I know how deep the water is underneath the ice that I'm going over, so I can go to these the same spots I go to in the summertime. This is really my winter bass boat. It's set up for ice fishing, but it's got all the same tools that I use in the summertime.
Even with a solid setup on a sled or an ATV, ice fishing is a bit more work to find fish quickly than in a boat with electronics, so don't overlook speeding up finding the fish by more practical and alternative approaches, such as checking out pre-existing holes to save yourself time on drilling new ones, especially if you can just punch right through and drop the transducer in for a quick look below the ice.
I got one, guys. Oh, this is a good fish too.
Good one?
Yeah, get that transducer on. This is a good fish. He's really heavy. Okay, I'm bringing him up.
That rod pounding.
Good.
The right way, not snapping.
Yeah, there he is. Keith, where's his head? Where's his head? Did I get his head in?
No.
Is his head in?
Here it is. Hit it.
Is his head in?
Yeah. Beast.
Oh, man.
That is a, look at that thing. He's got all the shrimp in him. Good old shrimp dinner last night. Only like 7 or 8 feet of water. Whatever.
Yeah.
Nice fish, Gary.
Good fish, man. Well, let him go.
Here we go. Well, there he goes.
There he goes.
I gotta get to my hole.
You know, I'm just sitting there kind of going, do, and all of a sudden, oh, the bomb's getting thicker. Because they like to bite you. Get away from me. Hey, that was a pretty cool release. Do you think you could do that again?
No.
Well, you need an ice armor suit so you can lay on the wet ice.
It's going to be available from 1/0 all the way on up into 7/0 type hooks, okay? It's type hook. With the Ultra Point type technology. Something that, no, I'm lost.
He's got you, Gary. Here, I'll try to help you. There, you got it?
It's so big it looks like almost a little puppy.
That's why they call it a football. Look at the big hump on him.
So this was like an assembled wolf pack of fishermen. Come join us while we snarl and get your next bite. Nice.
The Next Bite would like to thank the gracious staff of Woodland Resort, the only full-service ice fishing resort on Devil's Lake in North Dakota, with the largest fleet of fish houses and 5 different lodging options, incredible food, drinks, and more. The Woodland Resort is all about you having a good time.